Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here. Let's just jump right into it. Today, we're diving into ACIM, specifically Lesson 69. And if you're someone who really appreciates structured learning and, practical applications for your mindset, well, you're going to get a ton out of how this text approaches inner peace.
So, the exact lesson we're focusing on today is this: my grievances hide the light of the world in me. It's a pretty powerful statement, isn't it? The core idea here is that our resentments are actively blocking our own clarity and joy. Throughout this explainer, we're going to unpack the mechanics behind this and, more importantly, figure out exactly how to uncover that light. All right, decoding the message, translating spiritual concepts into practical mindsets. Let's get into it. Let's translate some of the more poetic language from the text, just so absolutely everyone can apply this to their day-to-day lives. You'll see the text use big, heavy words like hell or darkness. But really, it's talking about that mental anguish, that completely stuck state that comes from holding on to grudges and resentments. When it says you and the person you're angry with are standing in hell together, it just means that your grievance has trapped both your mind and your perception of them in this state of mutual misery. And this leads us to something really brilliant. When we define our terms, we see that salvation isn't some distant, abstract concept meant for the afterlife. No, it is simply the ultimate inner peace you experience right now when you tap into your inherent goodness, what the text actually calls the light of the world. It's all about releasing the people you are holding those grievances against, because realizing that letting go is what frees you both is absolutely crucial. Moving on to the metaphorical journey pushing past the dark clouds. Okay, so how do we actually achieve this peace? I mean, it's one thing to say, let go of grudges, but how do we actually do it? Well, the text asks us to dedicate several minutes today to really quiet our minds for an extended practice. First, you just close your eyes and let go of your normal, everyday thoughts. Then, visualize your mind as this vast, wide-open circle, completely surrounded by a layer of thick, heavy, dark clouds. Imagine you're standing just outside of this area, looking at this dense fog of your own resentments. And the source material makes a really brilliant observation about human nature here. Because these clouds of grievance seem like the only reality from where you're standing, you normally wouldn't even attempt to go past them. Think about it. When we're angry or holding a grudge, that anger feels so real, right? It feels so justified and solid that it seems like it's all there is. We completely forget there is a brilliant light hidden right behind it. But today, the text challenges us to actually make the attempt to push through. So this builds into an active mental exercise. You don't just stare at the clouds, you interact with them. Settle into perfect stillness, reach out in your mind, and literally brush those clouds aside. The text encourages a highly tactile visualization here. Imagine actually feeling the clouds resting on your cheeks, your forehead, and your eyelids as you push right through them to find that brilliant light hidden inside. It's a very deliberate act of moving past your own mental barriers. And as you're doing this, keep this exact quote in mind. Go on, clouds cannot stop you. The text assures us that if you're doing this properly, you're going to start feeling a sense of being lifted up and carried ahead. Just remember, your small determination calls on the power of the universe. Because you're aligning your will with a higher will, choosing peace over conflict, you literally cannot fail. Those clouds, they're just illusions of anger. They have absolutely no real substance to hold you back. Let's look at the daily application, short practices, and daily triggers. So now that we've covered the deep visualization, which the text suggests you do for a longer block of time, what happens when someone frustrates you out in the wild and you're tempted to hold a grudge? We all know that maintaining inner peace on a meditation cushion is one thing, but keeping it when someone cuts you off in traffic or when a coworker sends you one of those passive-aggressive emails, that's entirely different. Well, the text actually anticipates this exact problem and gives us a specific tool for the heat of the moment. It gives us this powerful phrase to use immediately to stop resentment dead in its tracks the second you feel triggered. You say, if I hold this grievance, the light of the world will be hidden from me. And wow, does that instantly shift your perspective? Instead of focusing on what the other person did wrong, it suddenly reminds you of the cost to you. It reminds you that holding on to this anger is just going to plunge you straight back into the darkness. Now, for your shorter, more frequent practice periods throughout the day, just remind yourself of a few key things. Remember, you are not searching alone, and you actually know exactly where to look for this peace. It's right there inside you.
Use the text affirmation to continually lift that veil. I cannot see what I have hidden, yet I want to let it be revealed to me, for my salvation and the salvation of the world.
All right, daily summary, your practice schedule for inner peace.
Let's bring all of this together into a really clear, actionable game plan for the day. First step, your extended practice. This is your one deep visualization, taking several minutes to push through those clouds we talked about. Second, your short practice. These are your frequent reminders, reciting the lesson as often as possible, just briefly throughout your day. And finally, your trigger intervention. This is where you use that quote we just discussed immediately, the very second you feel tempted to hold a grudge. Think of it as a comprehensive mental hygiene routine for your day.
To wrap things up, let's reiterate our main lesson. If you take away absolutely nothing else from this explainer today, let this profound truth guide your mindset. My grievances hide the light of the world in me. Your peace, your clarity, and your inherent goodness, they are always there. They're just waiting for you to make the simple decision to brush those dark clouds of resentment aside.
So, if this explainer helped you brush aside some clouds and maybe find a little more light today, please take a quick second to like and subscribe. Engaging with the channel really helps us keep bringing structured, focused learning straight to your screen. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I can't wait to continue this learning journey with you next time.